Joey Logano was sitting 20th in points 6 races ago. Written off, buried, treated like a 3-time champion running out the string on the worst start of his career. But on Saturday night at Richmond Raceway, he held off Chase Briscoe by 0.392 seconds, grabbed his second win in 4 races, and turned NASCAR's brand new chase format into every title contender's worst nightmare. Body, let's set the scene, because the Cookout 400 was a proper short track scrap from green to checkered. Ryan Blaney rolled off the pole in the number 12 Team Penske Ford after ripping a lap at over 121 miles an hour on Friday, and he backed it up by leading 60 of the first 70 laps to take stage 1. That was Blaney's series-leading 6th stage win of the season. Richmond is 3/4 of a mile of worn asphalt, 400 laps, tire fall off everywhere, and the grandstands were packed for a sellout crowd under the lights. Then Chase Briscoe went to work. The number 19 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota led 171 laps on the night, more than anybody else in the field, and for long stretches it genuinely looked like his race to lose. Briscoe was fast, he was patient, and he was hunting a career-best run at a track that has never loved him. Logano just refused to go away. The number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang led 6 separate times for 95 laps total, took stage 2, and then crew chief Paul Wolfe made the call that decided everything. Coming out of the final green flag pit cycle, Logano cycled out ahead of Briscoe, chewed through lapped traffic, and with roughly 24 laps to go, he drove past Christopher Bell on fresher rubber and took the point for good. Briscoe threw everything he had at him over the closing run and came up about 4 car lengths short. Brake shake on that next-to-last run cost him just enough. Austin Cindric brought the number 2 Penske Ford home third after starting 23rd, his best result of the entire season. Denny Hamlin was 4th in his home state, Chase Elliott 5th, and all 4 Hendrick Motorsports cars finished inside the top 10 with Kyle Larson climbing from 30th to 6th. Post-race inspection came back clean at the R&D Center, so the win is official. Now let's talk about what that trophy actually represents, because the number attached to it is enormous. That was Logano's 39th Career Cup Series victory, which ties him with Matt Kenseth and Tim Flock for 21st on the all-time wins list. It was his 37th win with Ford, good for 3rd on Ford's all-time list, and it pushed Ford to 752 Cup wins overall. It was his 3rd victory at Richmond specifically, at a track where he has now finished 7th or better in 13 of the last 17 starts. And it extended his streak to 15 straight seasons with at least 1 Cup Series win, which nobody else in the garage can touch. The part that should terrify the rest of the garage is how fast this happened. 6 weeks ago, this storyline did not exist. Logano and Wolfe were stuck in the ugliest slump of their partnership with just 2 top 5 finishes across the first 20 races of 2026 and a winless drought that stretched 45 races back to Texas Motor Speedway in May of 2025. Wolfe admitted publicly that the doubt was real, that he was asking himself whether the team was ever going to win again. Logano rolled into North Wilkesboro Speedway in July, sitting 17th in the standings, 8 points below the cut line. On the outside looking in, then he led over 300 laps and won that race. And now he has won again, and in the space of 6 weeks he has gone from 20th in points to 9th, from 8 points below the cut line to 142 points above it. That is not a driver squeaking into the postseason. That is a driver arriving with a full head of steam at the exact moment the season pivots. So why does that turn the chase into a nightmare? You have to understand what NASCAR changed this year. After a decade of elimination rounds, fans revolted. They said the knockout playoffs felt like a lottery instead of a championship, that a driver could stumble through 9 months and then get hot for 3 weekends and steal a title. NASCAR listened. For 2026, the sport brought back the chase, and the whole design philosophy is consistency over chaos. The top 16 drivers in regular season points after 26 races advance. Winning a race no longer punches your ticket automatically. Once the chase starts at the Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway on September 6th, there are no eliminations at all. All 16 drivers race the full 10 weeks, points accumulate, and whoever has the most at Homestead Miami Speedway is the champion. Simple, clean, and specifically engineered to reward the driver who has been good all year long. Except look at who is walking into it red hot. Joey Logano is the single greatest exploiter of postseason formats this sport has ever produced. 3 championships in 2018, 2022, and 2024, the only active driver with 3, and the only human being to win 3 titles entirely inside the elimination era. He built an entire legacy on being average for 26 races and lethal for the final 10. Critics spent years pointing at him as the reason the format needed fixing. NASCAR fixed the format. Logano is about to attack the new one the same way, and the math is genuinely uncomfortable for everybody else. The reset compresses this whole field into almost nothing. The regular season champion resets to 2,100 points. Second place resets to 2,075. Third goes to 2,065. Fourth to 2,060, and then it steps down by 5 points per position all the way to 16th at 2,000 even. If Logano locks in as the 9th seed, he resets at 2,035. That is 65 points behind the top seed. One dominant Sunday from the 22 car and Logano erases the entire gap between himself and the championship leader. One weekend. And there is a second layer to this that nobody is talking about enough. Under the old elimination format, aggression carried a real penalty. Hamlin has spent 24 races building a lead that a single mediocre finish in the chase can wipe out. Shane Van Gisbergen slid to 16th and is now the last man in with 50 points on Ryan Preece behind him. NASCAR spent an entire offseason redesigning its championship to stop exactly this kind of driver from stealing exactly this kind of title, and Joey Logano waited until race 24 to remind the sport that he does not actually care what the rules are. He just needs to be fast when the season shortens. He said it himself in victory lane, grinning, with the smoke still coming off the tires. "Don't let the boys get hot. We're pretty strong right now," the garage heard him. So if you think Hamlin holds on, or if you think the 22 car is about to break this new format wide open, drop it in the comments and let me know. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the New Hampshire breakdown next weekend, and go watch our full explainer on how the new chase point system actually works, because in 3 weeks it is going to decide a championship.